Everyone, welcome to Drive-By Reviews. They were doing a special edition because I just came out of surgery. Got my bands. The show must go on. Archers. I think I was going to talk about archers. Archers. So, the correct use of archers is to let them point their pointy things in the direction of the people with other pointy things, so that there's no more pointy things. I don't like shiny swords.
Disregard everything I said. I was under the influence of drugs that you should never try. Prescription though, your prescription. You're supposed to get off them as soon as possible, and so here we are. I am clear-headed and ready to talk about the correct use of archers. Are you guys ready? The correct use of archers. I'm a little more worse for the wear. I gotta do this in spurts because I have to elevate and lay back for quite a bit of the day right now because I had these screws removed from my So I'm a little more worse for the wear, but I'm well enough to talk about how to use archers. And the reason why this is important, I think a lot of early players actually disregard archers pretty quickly. As soon as they unlock the Unok Grenadiers, they go right to those 100% and they use them almost solely, and they never use the archers. And then what happens is late game you start to realize you cannot rely upon Grenadiers, or at the very least, some battles are way easier with archers and you don't have them trained up and you gotta spend a bunch of time getting them back up to equal level to your Grenadiers. Now, that doesn't take that much time, but you might as well already be aware that they're very usable. So let's jump in here and let's take a look at their stats, okay? Because this is kind of the big thing that everyone freaked out about in the last big update, and that's that the Grenadiers, they said, got nerfed from 2,000 damage down to 200. I thought that at first as well. However, with discussion with multiple players, I found that actually the damage remained relatively unchanged. I believe entirely unchanged. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but basically the same. And the Unok now are just showing what is their damage per second in relation to the exact same damage per second formula for archers. So archers actually hit more DPS than the Grenadiers. The big difference is because the Grenadiers shoot farther, they have a longer range where they can start the attack, and because they shoot slower, when they actually hit something, it shows to be more damage because their attack is slower. So the DPS is the number that they claim, but because they're shooting slower, it all gets shown on the screen during your attack all at once, more so than the archers, who are firing about at twice the speed, right? Now, the big thing that we've talked about before in some other videos is the fact that archers have this innate ability with armor piercing and critical chance, right? 40% armor piercing, 5% critical chance, while the Grenadiers have 5% critical chance only, meaning they are not armor piercing on their own, okay? So after the Lords of Flame event, I used a ton of Grenadiers, of course, because I had all these Grenadier and fire attack boosting items. It was a no-brainer. But now with the fire defensive items and ultimately with these high-level armor Titans and other units you're going to come across, like, God forbid you come across the Goliaths who have 40% armor innate, right? Their natural enemy is not the Grenadiers, but the archers, who can pierce that armor no problem. So basically, the archers nullify the armor of the Goliaths, and also Titans as well, up to 40%. Now, the unfortunate aspect of the archers is, unlike the Lords of Flame event, the Ranger event didn't seem to drop a lot of items that were really that great for archers. They were really great for Titans, Ranger Titans. They gave them a ton of damage and armor, but they didn't give the actual archers that came with the Rangers really any damage buffs. So your main item that you're going to use, the relic you're going to use, and we'll look at these later, is ice arrows. There are items out there, let's go see if we can find one of these. There are items out there that give health to ranged units, health to archers, health to Grenadiers, and at the end of the day, honestly, I think it's just a waste. If you understand the concept of opportunity cost, and of course a lot of our generation does not, when you utilize money or a resource for something, you've lost the opportunity to use it for something else. So if I use a relic spot to give health to archers, I've lost that relic spot to give damage to archers, or something more valuable than health to archers. And the way I see it is, once your archers or Grenadiers, I've said this before, once they engage into melee combat as ranged units, they're done anyways. They're not going to get away fast enough, and they're not going to do any more damage anymore. So who cares about their stupid health? Make them a glass cannon like they're supposed to be, and just make their damage output higher. Longbow. Longbow is pure garbage simply because after you have unlocked the first skill maxed out, the other two skills are something silly, like boost to spearmen and militia or something like that. So longbows are relatively worthless just because of that. But if they're all you got and you want to boost archers, there you go. There's your item of the day. Did I pass my ice arrows? Bip, bip, bip. Oh, I have it currently. I have it currently on the Titan. Of course I do. I'm trying to level up the item like a smart boy. There it is, ice arrows. Okay, I have it currently equipped. So as you can see, ice arrow starts off with that damage against Titans, but that right there is pretty phenomenal. And this is only this is the 4-star item, and they also have a 3-star. But basically, if you throw those on a Titan, multiple versions of that, your archers with their armor piercing combined with damage boost are going to be pretty deadly, especially at their fire rate. The only thing is they're going to get picked off faster by Grenadiers, and I have noticed after the update, Grenadiers tend to target units behind the Titan. It's interesting. It's like they're trying to shoot behind it. So I wonder if they programmed it to go after ranged units or at least units behind the front line on purpose, because Grenadiers on the defensive side are far more effective if they're actually going after the weaker units instead of your tank. So I think they've tried to program something like that in there. But let's jump into battle and let's take a look at the difference here, because I think that's going to be the most prudent. And someone attacked me. So let's go use them as a guinea pig, because Valen's she's going to have a hard time, and she has ice arrows. So we're going to throw up a ton of archers. Now keep in mind, Jarn, Jarn has, I believe he has an armor boost to Goliath, so basically the Unok would have a very difficult time attacking them. We're going to take a couple freezes just in case, sure, a shield, and then we're going to take Poison Cloud just in case we get overwhelmed by Jarn. I haven't actually fought too many Jarns out there, so I'm not sure how high he's got this. But I want to illustrate something that's interesting to me. Really, it seems the Grenadiers are more effective, which is interesting, more effective at taking out units that are of many people. Something to do with that fire effect. And whereas the archers are far more effective at taking out these single units that have a lot of armor involved. So well, he's got me surrounded, doesn't he? Okay, so let's go down here. We might lose one unit. And it's been a while since I've gone toe-to-toe on too many of these. I was out on a trip and everything, and then had this dang surgery, so there you go. Alright, so let's just go see if we can take him in, take him out, and then the rest of them should just take Jarn out, hopefully quickly. We'll do that. I want to kite. Hopefully she can kite in. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so the Grenadiers were stupid. They just got wasted, and then he's going to go this way. And hopefully all archers will take this guy out. No, don't you shoot. Nice, okay, so he's out of here. Actually, she can take care of that. So as you can see, alright, check this out. As you can see, the archers, really, if the archers were hitting, it's interesting that they hit the Grenadiers first, but if they were hitting Grenadiers like that, if I was hitting that Grenadier unit with my Grenadiers, they would have been gone in one blast. But with the Goliaths, which you'll notice is, let's pull this back, hang on, concentrating. What you'll notice with the Goliaths is they're far more effective at taking them out. So it's almost like the archers are good at taking out these highly defensive single units, like Goliaths, Titans, whereas the Unok, the Grenadiers, are really good at taking out these larger units that are comprised of many, many different separate entities, like Grenadiers, like archers. Hang on, she's about to fall. Shield her up. We're gonna pause these guys. Took off a little more than I can chew. That Jarn, I'll tell you, that Jarn is just insane. I'm gonna drop a Grenadier unit to just, where'd it go? Now you take out that Grenadier unit. We're gonna Poison Cloud it up. And we're gonna drop a Goliath down just in case. The kite. And then she's gonna kite from now on. By the way, you guys ever seen auto kite? Oh, wait, you take out this. And you take out this. Thank God for the spell. This is gonna be rough. I know. I'm not as good as I used to be. What can I say? I've lost focus and concentration. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well, we got this covered, I think, for the most part. Let's take this out. Oh! Speak of the devil. Don't kill her! Don't you kill her, she's my only kite! Walk, you stupid girl! Good lord, now this is why you should not have deleted Jarn if you had him. I mean, this is crazy. Basically, he's made, come on. He's made Goliaths immortal. I mean, if I didn't have armor piercing, if I had just brought Grenadiers into this battle, it would have been over. And this is already with the damage buff. Yeah, this is already a damage buff to the archers, and they're still having a hard time taking down their shields. So I can only imagine without having armor piercing 40%, this would be basically an impossible battle to win. This is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a Jarn with a maxed out defensive, Goliath defensive ability, so this is the first time I've seen this. And as you guys can see, it's taken me the majority of the time to beat it. This is crazy. But a great example as to why you need to use archers. This is basically an unattackable land without archers. You could try with, if you had higher end units, I guess it'd be fine. But keep in mind, these are only, what, level 16 and level 12 Goliaths? I think this is a level 12. Good lord, how many arrows did that take? I hope he resets so I can attack with Grenadiers and show you how I get wasted. But there you have it. There's the importance of using archers and how you use them. You've got to line them up. Hopefully you have more ice arrows than I do. I'm not sure what happened. I used to have ice arrows. I think I lost them during the relic event, or the relic update that messed it up, and I didn't realize I was deleting them because I was confused at first. And I don't know. I know somehow I lost a bunch of relics without realizing it. Like 40 relics are gone that I thought I had. So there is that. But what I do know is that to use your archers well, you definitely should be putting on more attack boosting relics with them, just like the Unok. And the difference is, I suppose, there really isn't a good setup I've found where you can put on any of those and it boosts your Titan, like the fire items with Durat. It boosts his damage while it boosts the Unok Grenadier damage. Unfortunately, there's no setup really like that, because if you look at the Ranger Titan items, they boost the Titan and they don't boost the archers, and then the ice arrows do not boost the Titan really. So it's kind of like a hit or miss, but eventually you are going to have to use archers for something, probably for attacks, probably not for defense. That's probably going to be Grenadiers still. But for attacks, as you can see, when you come across a maxed out Jarn like that, you're going to have a hard time taking down level 12. Those were level 12 Goliaths at the end. That was the hardest level 12 Goliaths I've ever seen. That's crazy. Wow. I'm glad I was able to do it with Valwyn, though. She's only like level 27 right now. Jeez. Alright, well there you have it. Use of archers. The main points, of course, are use damage boosting items and not health and armor boosting items for archers. There's really no point to make them more resilient in melee. You should be keeping them out of melee. And the other point would be, don't neglect using archers, because they have that armor piercing as their innate ability, and they're one of the best units out there to take down armor buffed units, which eventually are going to be all Titans and all Goliaths are already buffed anyways, right? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know how you use your archers. Let me know how you kite better than that, because that was a foolish way to kite. I know, I wasn't expecting Jarn to have that big of a buff to those Goliaths. That was crazy. And down below, start a discussion on what kind of relics you guys use with your archers. Maybe some of you guys do like using health and have your archers near immortal with their own armor. Who knows? I don't know. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, to comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Dawn of Titans with DBR. Ow, my screws! My screws!